What your pan looks like after you first cook can vary a lot. It depends on the food you cook, the temperature you use, and even how you clean the pan afterwards. For the Black series, our nitrided pans, if you just fry an egg, the pan will stay looking almost brand new for a while. But if you cook a steak or anything at high heat, the pan will begin developing its natural seasoning. You will start to see dark or black patches forming on the surface. That's completely normal. Over time, it all evens out and becomes darker and more uniform. If you cook tomatoes or other acidic food, they can lift a bit of the factory seasoning and create some light discoloration. The same can happen if you scrub too aggressively when washing. All of this is totally fine. It does not affect cooking performance and the nitrided layer stays completely intact. Just keep cooking and the surface will naturally turn black again. For the classic series, this is the raw carbon steel pan. These pans naturally change a lot with use. The cooking surface will go through different colors and look patchy for a while before it eventually darkens and ends up looking very similar to the Black series. I personally like to rub a thin layer of oil over the whole pan every now and then to help build that color. But this is totally optional. You can just cook, clean, and keep going. Classic series pans may rust a little if you leave them wet before they're fully seasoned, and that's completely normal for raw carbon steel. Usually a bit of hot soapy water is enough to clean them up and continue cooking. Another important thing to know is this: when you scrub your pan a bit too hard or when you cook acidic food, you may notice that when you dry the pan, the towel comes away with some black on it. This will happen in any cast iron or carbon steel pan, it's part of it. That can be a little of seasoning coming off or just thin layers of food residue that didn't fully release during washing. It is completely normal and totally safe, but yes, I get that it can be a little bit annoying. The best way to fix this is to just simply keep cooking. After 2 or 3 cooking sessions, the seasoning settles again and the surface stabilizes. You can also try heating the pan with a thin layer of oil just to help reharden the surface. That polymerized oil creates a tougher layer, but honestly, in my experience, just using the pan normally is enough. And remember, all of this is just organic carbon. These are the same compounds humans have been cooking with since we first put food over fire, and in my opinion, it's a lot safer than any chemical coating on a non-stick pan. Alright, let's start with washing, level 1. If your pan is just oily after frying an egg or making something like pancakes, this is as easy as it gets. Just run a bit of hot water over the surface and give it a gentle scrub with a soapy sponge or a bristle brush, and that's all you need. Dry the pan well, and if you want to help build that darker black color over time, add a tiny drop of oil and wipe it into a very thin layer with a dry cloth. Level 2. Level 2 is for everyday proteins like bacon, steak, chicken, anything that leaves that caramelized layer on the cooking surface. This is not burnt food, it's just the Maillard reaction, the browning that creates that delicious crust that we all love. Here's the easiest way to clean it. When you finish cooking and the pan is still hot, add some hot water. It doesn't have to be boiling. Boiling will just splatter everywhere. Always hot water in a hot pan. Avoid sudden temperature changes. Now just leave the pan soaking while you serve dinner. I recommend at least 15 to 20 minutes. That's normally more than enough. If the mess is big, you can even leave it overnight. It's totally fine. Some people add a dash of dish soap at this stage. I don't personally do it, but feel free to experiment. Once it's soaked, scrub the cooking surface with a bristle brush or a soapy sponge. Most of the time, that's all you need. If there are still a few hard bits stuck on, that's when you bring the chainmail or a scoring side of a dish sponge. But be super gentle. Be especially careful with those green scoring pads. Their fibers are extremely abrasive. They are harder than nitrided carbon steel, and they can scratch almost anything if you press hard enough. You rarely need to put pressure here. Light is best. A chainmail scrubber with small rings works incredibly well for this. Then just rinse well. Dry the pan completely and add a tiny wipe of oil if you want to help build that black color. Let's move to level 3. If you made it to level 3, congrats! This is where things actually can get a little bit tricky. Level 3 is all about dealing with carbonized food. If you end up here, you were probably cooking a little too hot, but sometimes it can happen even with normal cooking. For example, when I make pork chops with mustard and sugar on top, that sugar sticks like glue and carbonizes really quickly. It's a pain to clean. The trick is to repeat level 2 first. Soak the pan and give it a light scrub. What you want is to remove all the soft residue, so the only thing left in the pan is the hard welded carbon. Once the pan is clean, put it back on the stovetop and start heating it again. Go gradually at first, then get it nice and hot. You're basically cooking the carbon until it dries out. It might smoke a little bit, that's normal. Keep going until the carbonized food becomes brittle. In most cases, it will start lifting, cracking, and dislodging from the pan on its own. You can use the flat side of a spatula to help break it up, and that's it. After that, a quick rinse and a gentle scrub under hot water will finish the job easily. So there you go. Scrubbing your pan hard is never required, ever. So now, from a couple of emails that I have received this week, if you see carbonized food, like really carbonized food in your pan, chances are that your pan was too hot, right? So we don't need carbonized food. So that was too hot. Just go low, try to cook lower. You only need high heat when you're searing a protein, and only for a little bit of time, right? So we normally don't cook a full blast all the time. So if your food is burning, the pan was probably too hot. And that's all for now. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section below so I can address them in the next video. See you in the next one.